Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography, where old friends and fans come together to BS, argue, occasionally agree, and discuss a musical artist. Today we are listing our top 10 albums for 2023. It's been an insanely good year in music and in books. We got Holly from Stephen King. Stephen King, let us know your favorite album of 2023. Give us a like and subscribe. We got some big plans for 2024, including the 1990s album of the decade, Meat Grinder, where we will pick our top 10 albums of each year from 90 to 99, and the top 3 from each of us will go into a bracket where we will vote them out until we come up with the album of the decade. It's going to get real, it's going to get dirty, and it's going to be brutal. You don't want to miss that.
Can't wait.
In the new year, starting with Mr. Bungle, we are going to change up our rant and rank, diving deeper into each album so we aren't forced to cram large amounts of music in a short time. We will still do his top songs, but since nobody seems to care about album art, we may drop those. Let us know in the comments below if you are one of the few special viewers who know how great the Is It Art videos are. So with all of that out of the way, let's jump right into 2023.
Hey, wait a minute. I thought we were doing 1923. My favorite album is King Porter Stomp by Jelly Roll Morton. I didn't see
that's a good choice. I'm trying to think what came out in 23.
All right. with me today, he's one for the history books, Tim.
Howdy.
And he'd like to go on the record, Joe.
That's right.
And he's jumping out of 2023 into 2024 because he's Jason. I had nothing. I'm sorry.
Well, I could have given you the one I had for Cold.
Yeah, we could have been like,
since
2023 felt like 72 seasons to Jason.
Yeah, that's a good one. Sure. Yeah.
Yep. Colquitt needs to take some more Imodium because he's feeling ill. So anyway,
wash your hands.
We asked our Discord members what their 2023 picks were, and Disco Volante 777 was torn between Telenovelas Poet's Tooth and Ren's Sick Boy. And Your Mother's Thumb said Rolling Stones, Hackney Diamonds, or Foo Fighters, but here we are. So I guess before we get into the albums, are there any special releases that came out that aren't studio albums that you want to mention?
Yeah, for sure. I have a couple. So my year started off with the new Stoner EP, Boogie to Baja. They're one of my favorite new bands. It's Brant Bjork and Nick Oliveri, both formerly of Caius, as well as a myriad of other bands. The highlight on here is the cool Motorhead cover of City Kids. Plus Night Tripper versus No Brainer is just an absolute ripper of a song. Great EP. It would absolutely win on artwork. Great band, great release. Let's see what else. What else came out this year? The Who put out their 50th anniversary edition of Who's Next with an updated version of Lifehouse that's apparently more fleshed out. I've only heard bits and pieces of the box set because it's 10 albums worth.
Jesus.
But it's Who's Next. I love their deep cut releases and stuff. Like, great band. Can't wait to dive into that. Locally, there's a band out of Seattle called Sorsha that I really like. They put out their second album back in July. It is called Lost Season, and you should definitely check that band out. It's SORCIA. Great doom band out of Seattle going on right now. So that was a cool release. You can get, man, there's so much stuff. Minor Threat is putting out some outtakes. Those should be, I think they're officially out. I haven't received my copy yet, but that is out. I Am is the new band. They put out 2 singles so far this year. Definitely check them out. Another super group. Yeah, those are the ones off the top of my head that I know came out this year that you guys should check out.
Yellowcard's new EP.
Okay.
That's one I was going to shout out. Childhood Eyes.
Green Day's Look Ma No Brains, really good song. The Beatles put out
I guess the Beatles is going to fall under this category too.
We got a new
Now and Then was released. Yeah.
So yeah, there's been a lot of good stuff. I guess what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do our top 10, and on here are all the albums that we, as a collectively as a group, chose to put on here. And I want to give a dishonorable mention to Rick Springfield's Automatic. That's a horrible record, horrible artist. Shout out Cowboy. All right, who wants to start us off? We're going old school, 10s, 9s, 8s, 7s.
Oh, shit. I guess I can start us off. Being in there. Let me scroll down to my notes here. I've got a fun system now going on. This is nice. My number 10 is going to be Post Malone's Austin. Did this come out of left field and me not expect to put Post Malone's Austin? If you'd have told me at the beginning of the year you're going to put Post Malone in the top 10, I'd have called you a liar.
If you would have told me at the end of the year you're going to put Post Malone in the top 10, I'd call you a liar.
But I started listening to... so a lot of times I find weird music off of NPR's Tiny Desk. And so Post Malone was on NPR's Tiny Desk. I really enjoyed that session, so I started listening to some of the essentials and really enjoyed that. I was like, oh, this is pretty good, so I started listening to this album. I like this album. It's kind of a slower thing than you would be expecting from Post Malone. There's some very mellow songs going on here. Some of them I like a lot. Some of them I don't. I'm like, this is probably a little too slow for what I'm looking for out of Post Malone. But they're good things. And some kind of honorable mentions of it are Morning. I really like that song. Landmine closes the album. It's good. There is a shout out to Seven Nation Army there for you, Jason, and Chemical. But it's good. I really like I said, I like his voice. I like how he rhymes Sunday with Hyundai at one point. It's fun. Are there some, stereotypical... Oh, I'm sorry. Landmine doesn't close it out. It's just on a different page. There are some stereotypical hip-hop things going on in there that I'm not necessarily a huge fan of, but overall, pretty good album.
You know what? I'm calling you out, Joe. Are you a real Post Malone fan?
Well, I just started this year, so I don't know how real.
Look, do you have a Post Malone cup from Raising Cane's?
Oh, I do not. I didn't know there was a Post Malone cup.
Yeah, there was 4. You're not a
I
true
do remember
fan
the
if you don't have a
Doritos
cup.
commercial where his picture on his ID says "Wow," so I don't know if that counts.
All right, Tim, what's your number 10?
Well, I'm going to keep it in the mellow mood here. And I'm actually going to go with the Andre 3000 album, New Blue Sun.
Oh.
Vinyl doesn't come out until January of 2024, so I've only heard it digitally. But I really want to hear a real copy of this. I think it's a pretty interesting album. There's a lot of really cool melodies going on. And yeah, every time you get a cymbal swell and they hit the gong, it starts getting really exciting. For as much as basically elevator music can. But I got no problem with that. So it's a really good release. I need more time with it. I think everybody does. I hope people give it another chance after the initial shock of getting a flute album from Andre 3000 is. And also the shock of actually sitting through it and being like, okay, now what? Sonically, it really does something to the ears that I think is lacking in today's modern music, and so I definitely appreciate that. And I really am looking forward to getting this on vinyl in January. I can't wait to hear it through some real speakers.
I love the name of the names of the songs particularly. But
Oh,
the
he
first
hands
one,
down wins that award.
oh yeah, I was
Best
like,
track
that's-
title.
And he says everything he needs to say right there, and then you get an hour and a half of flute music. It's kind of beautiful.
All right, my number 10 is going to be. But here we are.
Okay. Yeah, we haven't put them on. We haven't done their full discography yet, so I can't wait to see how you feel about this in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, that's like in 2 weeks. We're
Oh, okay. Yeah,
we're doing Foo
perfect.
Fighters, so
I'm gonna miss the Foo Fighters one with y'all. I apologize.
it's a
You'll
Foo
be all
Fighters
right.
record. Nothing more, nothing less. It is a Foo Fighters record that is better than probably the last 3 or 4 releases, but it doesn't really stand out as anything more than just another Foo record. Some song highlights: Rescued. The Foos usually have a kick-ass opening track. The title track, Glass, and Rest. R.I.P. Taylor.
I actually listened to that album because I thought we were listening to everything that was released this year and kind of like giving a good through. So I'm kind of with you. It's a Foo Fighters record, and it wasn't bad. They had some good things in there.
Yeah, it wasn't like extraordinarily great, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about it too. And I'll agree with you that it was better than the last like 2 releases, I think. But I mean, it's on par with Sonic Highways, which is just another Foo Fighters release.
No, it's way better than Sonic Highways. We'll get into them in a couple weeks. So.
Okay, yeah, no spoilers.
All right, Tim, what's your number 9?
Okay, so my number 9 came out pretty early in the year, and I think holds up. So it's kind of was the one I was comparing everything to as the year went through. That's going to be Iggy Pop's album, Every Loser. Andrew Watt, who is going to have another list on this, or another album on this list from me, produced this. The rhythm section is Chad Smith and Duff McKagan, and then Josh Klinghoffer, formerly of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I think is currently touring with Pearl Jam, plays guitar on it. So it's a very solid backing band. Iggy sounds great. He's been doing this for almost 60 years now. And the attitude is still there. The fire is still there. He still sounds great. We haven't gotten to his stuff either, or even the Stooges yet. But, you know, as far as his solo albums go, this is in the upper half. It's not one of the best ones or anything, but it's a really good album, and I would highly recommend everybody check it out.
Yeah, I went back and listened to this one. I need more time with it, but I remember Strung Out Johnny being great. Neopunk
Strung Out Johnny was great. The Regency, I think it closed really well. Again, that one had Taylor Hawkins on it as well. So let's turn this into a tribute show to Taylor Hawkins. Neopunk was good. That one had Travis Barker, who might have another album on this list coming up later.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, New Atlantis. That one was great. It's a really good album. I don't think I like it as much as the one he had Josh Homme produce, who also has an album on this list coming up later. But as far as like basically it's the same studio setup that Ozzy did for his last album last year. and this is infinitely better than the last Ozzy album. So,
And this was really my first real foray into Iggy. Like,
yeah, it's a great intro. It's a great intro, please. Yeah. I mean, he was in the Stooges. He kind of started everything I love about music. And so the fact that he's still doing it and still sounding great is exciting. Yeah. And it could have been a good forewarning for the rest of the year and all the crazy artists that we weren't expecting to get releases from.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got quite a few of those coming up.
Yeah.
All right, my number 9 is The Record. This one has to go on the list. It's not my type of music, but joining the Boy Genius Facebook groups and watching these kids latch onto this record, it was truly something special, a great community, and it was a fun ride watching this album kick so much ass throughout the year. Hell, I even had to defend the boys in a Beatles Facebook group. It's definitely more interesting than the Foo Fighters, and one of my top songs is from this album, so stick around for that video.
Okay.
And I keep seeing it on vinyl, and I'm like, it's one of those, like, it just looks good. It would look really good on vinyl.
I'm very surprised this made it on your list. I mean, I know you enjoyed it, but I'm kind of surprised it made top 10.
I am too. I talk a lot of smack about this band, but I've had to defend them, and the community's great. Like, it's been a fun year.
My number 9 is the Menzingers. Some of it was true. Surprise album. I didn't realize that the Menzingers was going to put something out this year. I'm glad they did. I was a little let down by it. Now, I still think it's a good album, but I wanted so much more. I don't know. With the title, Some of It Was True, I was just like, what a great title for an album. And that opening song, Hope is a Dangerous Little Thing, almost puts it on the list by itself. But I enjoyed that one. I really liked No Place in the World for Me. I thought that was good. A lot of these are okay. None of these songs are bad. There's a lot of okay songs on here. Some of It Was True, title track is good. Alone in Dublin, I thought was pretty good. And the closing track, Running in the Roar of the Wind, I really like that one also. So yeah, number 9.
I'm gonna follow right behind you because that's my number 8. This was such a letdown. In years past, the Menzingers were putting out an album. It was usually number 1 or 2 on my list. But this album, it's just so meh. I didn't even bother bringing it to the show for a review. We'll get to ranking this discography sometime next year. But this has been my least favorite Menzingers album ever. I definitely need more time with it. But maybe it's a grower. I don't know. But the track highlights would be Hope is a Dangerous Thing and Nobody Stays.
Nice. Oh, so it's me again. Oh, shit. Well, where am I at? That was too quick.
Right? What number are we on?
We go. Number 8. My number 8 is Rancid, Tomorrow Never Comes. Another surprise album for me. Because Rancid to me has been very hit or miss. Jason and I have talked about this previously and I agree with him, this being kind of the best thing they put out since Indestructible, in my opinion.
Easily.
And it was just great. I mean, this was like going back in time for me. It's kind of like going back in time. I mean, this was listening to them beforehand. It was great.
I still contend it had too many sea shanties.
You know,
I love sea shanties. Go watch our Jason Isabel review for that one.
There you go.
Well, and watch our review for Rancid as well.
Oh, that's right.
We definitely talked about that album.
Highlights for me: The Bloody and Violent History. It's a Road to Righteousness. Tomorrow Never Comes, obviously, and When the Smoke Clears. Those are kind of my high points. But I mean, this felt great. This felt like being young and listening to some Rancid. It was awesome.
All right, Tim.
Okay. What is this, number 8?
Number 8.
Okay, number 8 is an album that came out, I think, in April, May, is the new Metallica album, 72 Seasons. I did pick that one up on vinyl. It's a really nice copy. Yellow vinyl, I believe, matches the album artwork. It's pretty cool. I still contend it's kind of a mid-tier Metallica album. But like Chasing Light, still holding up. You Must Burn has really grown on me. Too Far Gone and Room of Mirrors. Yeah, it's a really solid album that, you know, it isn't their best, nor is it the best of the year, but it's a good album and it's really catchy. So,
as someone who hasn't followed Metallica probably since like the Black Album, and when we did this discography, I did like this album more than I think anybody else, like out of the 3 Metallica fans.
Yeah, you know,
I think.
My opinion of it has softened a little bit since it came out. I'm willing to forgive a lot of the things I didn't like about it at first, but there's still, I still think there's issues with it. Where it puts it a mid-tier Metallica album, and while it's good enough for the top 10 here, I think there were definitely better albums that came out.
I wish you could see my notes on my phone about this album. It just says Metallica. It's Metallica. It's Metallica. It's Metallica. It's Metallica. That's the whole. Yeah. Every one of my notes was like that. I was like, "There's nothing. It's not great Metallica. It's just Metallica."
Now, I think half of them phoned it in, and the other half picked up as much of it as they could, but couldn't carry it at all. But they both, half of it sounds great, and the other half phoned it in.
When did they get that crazy, that metal-looking M as their logo? I don't remember that.
I mean, the M's been there since day one, back in '83.
That type of M? Huh.
Yeah.
I don't
the A is like that as well on the backside of it.
And then they went to just using the M as like a little, logo, probably in like 13 or 14. So it's been about 10 years.
Okay.
They watched that Office episode where Kevin, was condensing words. And they're like, "Oh, wait, we could do that too. We just need the M."
We just need an M. I think it fits them. That's great that they're well enough known to just have a metal M.
Oh yeah.
That's been there since day one now.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it said Metallica with it, but just like by itself there.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah, right?
All right, Joe, it's your turn to go first.
Look at here. All right, we're on number 7. My number 7 took me a little bit to get into, which doesn't surprise me because it took me a moment to do that with one of the previous albums. So it's going to be Jason Isbell and the 400 Units Weather Vanes. When I first listened to this album, I was like, ooh, I don't know. But that happened to me previously on... Let me find my notes. I'm pretty sure I put it in my note. All these look the same. The Nashville Sound, I did the same thing with. I listened to it one time and I was like, I don't know. But this one's growing on me. I really enjoy it. I'm glad I enjoy it because it was kind of a letdown for me to be like, ooh, I don't know if this is going to make it to my top 10 at the end of the year. But it has, and I think it'll probably rise a little bit. We'll see. I don't know. There's some good albums out this year. So highlights to me are the opening track, Death Wish. I really liked Save the World, Cast Iron Skillet. We have a Boy Genius mention in Vestavia Hills, which I don't think it's tied to the band, but we were just talking about Bikini Kill and Boy Genius previously, so I heard that right after it. Like I said, really good. I'm glad he's sticking with the 400 unit, going with it instead of just solo.
Yeah, my feelings on Jason Isbell.
Favorite.
Great guy though. Like I love him on Twitter. He is amazing as a human being. I just don't like his music. All right, Tim, what's your number 7?
Uh, you know, this is one of the holes I was hoping to fill going into this list. So I'm going to throw kind of a curveball here. And I'm going to go with Integrated Tech Solutions by Aesop Rock. An album I checked out for the first time. I guess it's been out like about a month now. A month and a half, something like that. And the more I listen to it, the more I like it. A lot of really interesting production choices. I like a lot of the rhythms. There's actually melody on here in places, which is refreshing from a hip hop album. Yeah, it's a really good album. I think some of my highlights were Kyanite Toothpick. The ITS Way is like just a fun, it's very 80s sounding. Time Moves Differently here was really good. Vititis. There's like a lot of really good tracks on this album. And overall, like, it's probably not my favorite hip hop album that came out this year. That's gonna go to Kool Keith with his Black Elvis 2. But I think this one is better, so it made the list. And yeah, it's really good.
I am not going to talk about this one yet, but
okay,
you are correct. That this Cole quit saying we should do the new Aesop Rock as a review, and then me finding Long Legged Larry, which if it would have came out 2023, would be #1 song. And hearing that record, it threw a complete curveball in my top 10. So
I'm gonna talk about this one here in just a minute, but me too. I didn't expect this to be an album that I was going to be on top 10 whatsoever, and it's great. So we'll talk a little more about it here shortly.
Well, yeah. I mean, I almost feel bad putting it this low, but it's tough. The middle part of this list is floating. It's still, they could still surprise us this year, with something really crazy good.
Yeah, sometimes the more you hear something, the better it gets, and sometimes the more you hear
absolutely.
it, the less you like it.
Yeah, yep. I'm not looking forward to 6, 5, and 4. I don't really like where everything is.
Yeah, it's very, very movable in through here. They could get a lot higher. They could also, we'll see once I check out a couple other things if they continue to stay.
My number 7 is The Bouncing Souls, 10 Stories High. Shout out to Michael McKell for letting us use the photos for Vin and Casey and giving some insight and background on the song. One of the highlights that we've had on this show, honestly. The full album itself, it's pretty damn good. It's a step up from the previous 2 releases for sure. It's a fun, solid album. And having the fans send in stories for inspiration and working with the band on the songs is just magic. Some of my track highlights are 10 Stories High, Kinver, Vin and Casey, and Higher Ground. This was a solid Souls record at the beginning of the year.
Cool. Right. Is that me next?
That's you. You got the dot.
Okay. Let me see here. Let me make sure. I feel like I'm missing a couple. I shouldn't be getting to these already. But yeah, I guess I am here already. I'm gonna go with Hackney Diamonds by the Rolling Stones. Wow. I feel like this was higher on the list.
Wow. I'm sure.
It's a really good album, though. It's we did go through the Stones, so I was reminded of a lot of what I liked about that band, and I think this one fits in really nicely with it, with their discography, with music today in 2023. I think it sounds very modern. Again, Andrew Watt is killing it on the production. And you get a track with Bill Wyman and Charlie Watts on it. That's pretty rad. Yeah, great stuff.
Paul McCartney, Lady Gaga.
Yeah, and I was just getting to that. Some of the highlights, song-wise, are Bite My Head Off, Sweet Sounds of Heaven. I really like Mess It Up. I really like Live by the Sword, too. I know that one's kind of controversial in the world, I guess. Some people either love it or hate it, but I think it's fine. Yeah, it's not the best Rolling Stones album in the world, but for having done it for 60 years and in 2023, I think it's the best Rolling Stones album we were going to get, and I'm A-okay with that. Yeah, if you haven't heard it by now, do yourself a favor and check it out.
And yeah, I'll concur with you on this being a big surprise to me, because I'm not a huge Rolling Stones person. I mean, I listen to Stones as much as anybody else as far as like radio and things of that nature. But this was actually, it surprised me. Being 2023 and then putting out an album, I was like, hey, you're probably just going to be, dialing this one in. You're just going to hang out. But it starts great with Angry, and then you got Bite My Head Off, like you said, Wholesome Wide World. The closing track, Rolling Stone Blues, is great. It's good stuff.
I'm not going to talk about this one yet.
Well, that's better than not talking about it at all.
All right, we're going to cut to a commercial. We're about halfway through, so stick around.
This is the face of erectile dysfunction. So is this. And this. Fact is, 1 in 3 men have some form of ED, a medical condition also called impotence that affects men of every age, race, and background. What else do all these men have in common? They all faced up to their problem and got help. If you're experiencing ED, there's no need to hide your face. Just talk to your doctor. It's the best way to get educated about ED and how to treat it.
All right, welcome back from that commercial. Whatever the hell it is we find.
It changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
It did. I bought 10 of them.
Oh, I am so getting something good for this commercial now. All right, my number 6 is going to be, and this one could have been my number 7. These two could have swapped. But it's going to be the Gaslight Anthems history books. It's crazy that we got a Gaslight Anthem album this year. It's really crazy we got such a good Gaslight Anthem record this year. They were the 3rd band we covered on the show, but had to scrape the recordings because the sound quality was awful. Our sound guy we had to get rid of him. We'll revisit them again.
Thanks,
at some
Frank.
point. So, looking forward to giving Get Hurt a second chance. This is a classic Gaslight Anthem record, and it's a damn good album. It's much better than Get Hurt. Some of my song highlights are Spider Bites, Autumn, Little Fires, and Empires. And I forgot to click over to it, but whatever. Joe, what's your number 6?
I am at a conundrum here. We're just going to go how I wrote them down. I don't... Okay, we're just going to go how I wrote them down. My number 6 is Blink-182's One More Time. So my problem with 6, 5, and 4 is they could pretty much be interchangeable. My 1, 2, and 3 I feel very confident in. But as far as my 4, 5, and 6, it's hard for me to put this Blink album at number 6. I really enjoy it. I think it is the best Blink album in a very, very long time. It's great. I mean, it's starting off with Anthem Part 3. What an amazing beginning. I love Dance With Me. The first half of this, I'm just like, everything is good. Everything's great. We do get into a little bit of a one-song slump, and then we're back to everything is pretty good or better than that. So putting it 6 is tough, but upon my re-listens to it, I just feel like I'm going to listen to the other albums ahead of it more than I'm going to go back to this one, and that's kind of the only reason it is where it is. But it was great to have him back again. I like this album a whole lot.
All right. I'm not going to talk about that one yet either. Who goes first this time, me or Tim?
I think so.
Yep, I got the dot. All right, my number 5 is Rancid's Tomorrow Never Comes. I forgot to show off my Foo Fighters record, which this could just be anything because you can't fucking see it.
It's just a whiteboard. He lied.
But here we are.
But here we are. So this record, Joe kind of already said it all, but it's fucking good. Easily the best record Rancid album since 2003's Indestructible. 16 tracks of pure fast punk rock. I could put this one on and not skip a fucking track. Some of my highlights are New American, the title track, One Way Ticket, Eddie the fucking Butcher, and Drop Dead In. It's a great record. All right, Joe, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is going to be Integrated Tech Solutions, A$AP Rock. What an album to kind of come out of nowhere for me, particularly because, like I said, I've never heard A$AP Rock. I mean, I've heard the name about, but I've never really listened to anything by him. And so listening to it, and really I thought I was going to be on the video that you may or may not have seen already. Check it out on our YouTube. And so, I was there just in case we needed some backup for it. And I was like, I don't know if I'm the person to come on for this, but let me listen to it. We'll see. Luckily, we had an expert on, and I just had a great time with this album. I thought the ITS Way was a pretty funny start to the album. I was like, oh, this is humorous. I like what we're doing here. And then we just jump right in. I mean, everything. I mean, my list basically says good. There's 2 okays on here. But man, what a great album. I love things referencing other things. So we've got Mario Kart. We've got Pikmin. You've got Da Vinci. You've got all kinds of things in here. Just kind of rolling through them. I've got Van Gogh down there. So just great. I mean, like I said, a huge surprise. I want to go back and listen. Chikula. I want to go back and listen to more
REM
of his albums.
Radiohead.
And so Radiohead. Just can't wait to go through them. But kind of my big takeaways from it: Pigonometry. I love that one. 100 Feet Tall was really good. Aggressive Steven. On Failure. Vividus. I think that's how we're going to pronounce that today. Good stuff. Oh, we got a Star Wars, Applebee's, and Minions all in one song with All City Nerve Map. So we're really doing something here. Great album. As I listen to it, this one may climb the ranks too. I was putting it at 5, felt a little bad to me, but I just haven't been with it long enough.
All right, Tim, what's your number 5?
I think
Good spot for Blink.
Say it again.
Good spot for Blink.
It is, but it's not where it's gonna go. 1, 2, 3, 4. My number 5 is going to be. Yeah, I think this is where I throw the mulligan. I threatened, actually. Because I do have the Foo Fighters, but Here We Are on my list. But I'm putting it all the way down at number 9. And everything is going to shift up 1. Sorry. I knew I missed one somewhere.
I think you need to switch Iggy and Foo Fighters.
Yeah, I definitely like the Iggy Pop album more than the Foo Fighters album. But it is a decent Foo Fighters album, and I think as far as music in 2023 goes, that it's on the list. Like it's It's not their best work, but it's not their worst either. And I think it definitely informed a lot of the kind of the attitude of rock music in 2023. Obviously, it's a somber album, but that they're not a band that you've been waiting a whole bunch of time for a release, but a whole bunch of rock bands that do maybe put out an album every quarter century or so. They did put out albums this year, so it kind of ties in for me, just the year. And I think The Teacher is the highlight of the album for me. It's a great song.
So, Tim, that means you have 4 more slots for the Smashing Pumpkins album.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, that was 2020,
Correct.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was this year.
That ain't even on our list.
Shout out Colquitt. We know that was your number 1.
We knew that was your number 1. All right, Joe, what's your number 4?
Oh, number 4. So we're getting into here. We're getting in here now. My number 4 is going to be the Gaslight Anthem's History Book. It is great to have the Gaslight Anthem back. My first note, the opening song is good, and it sounds like the Gaslight Anthem, and that's all you can ask for. So really, really good. This whole album really sounds like the Gaslight Anthem. It also sounds a little bit like Brian Fallon's solo work, which they're closely related, obviously, since he's the lead singer. I love that he gets to sing with Bruce. They get a song together on an album. That's great. I thought it was a good song. Love Positive Charge. Thought Michigan 1975 was really good. Little Fires is great. Weatherman's good. I mean, pretty much everything here is good. This is an album that I'm going to listen to like I listen to the rest of the Gaslight Anthem. It will be on a regular repeat. It's number 4 above the rest so far. Do you have the vinyl of this?
No, I haven't gotten this one yet. There's a couple of these I'm missing.
I need this one because I have pretty much everything else besides Get Hurt by Gaslight Anthem. That one can stay dead.
Yeah, pretty much my top 5 down are like perfect records, and really the Gaslight Anthem could go there as well. So, all right, Tim, what's your number 4?
Well, okay, so we get to the part of the list where I kind of extend it into number 3 as well. But my number 4 is going to be Cavalera with Bestial Devastation. Which, of course, is going to leave Morbid Visions for number 3. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is one giant album. They totally pulled a Mr. Bungle and went back and re-recorded their first things that they put out, which just happened to be the first Sepultura album. A hugely influential band that everybody kind of knew. The first album sounded horrible. This really brings these songs to life, considering that they're almost 40 years old, and this is probably the combo metal album of the year for me. Shows just how far ahead of the curve the Cavalera brothers were in Sepultura, and how relevant what they're doing together today should absolutely be applauded and celebrated. I think it's awesome that they went back and redid these. Again, much like Mr. Bungle, you take that first thing that sounds like crap because you didn't know what you were doing when you were 16 and you had $20 to spend in a studio, and like Igor Cavalera barely knew what half the drum set even was when they first recorded this. So yeah, I'm really excited about these albums. They're not for everybody, of course, but if you like heavy metal at all, you're gonna just love these albums like I do. So
why the name change? Why didn't they just call it Sepultura?
Well, because Sepultura is still a working band that has 0 founding members left.
Oh. Okay.
That is, we'll get. Hopefully we'll get to that discography, but it has been a long and storied history with a lot of lawsuits and members in and out. That like the Cavalera brothers, Max and Igor, didn't talk to each other for almost 20 years, and once Igor finally left Sepultura, eventually they were able to reconnect as brothers. That led to a band called the Cavalera Conspiracy, and that has led to them doing multiple tours where they're performing classic Sepultura albums on tour, and that takes us to the next step, where they finally went back and re-recorded these. And so, not necessarily new music. I mean, Troops of Doom has been a classic for damn near 40 years. But these are brand new releases, today's modern production. No triggers, no auto-tune. This is just four dudes thrashing it out in a studio at peak performance. I love these albums.
All right.
I listened to both these albums, which is not something that's a thing.
Definitely outside of your wheelhouse. So.
Oh yes,
yeah.
And you and I were talking before this. I thought the music was great. The music throughout this is really, really good. That is my big takeaway from it. For someone, this is not my style of music whatsoever. There are some like bells or something in there that I don't get into. I don't understand. I was trying to figure out where it was. I thought there was a bell somewhere, and I was like, what is this? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reading something else.
It is not my style of music, and I wasn't going to listen to it, and I'm not going to listen to this band until we have to listen to this band for this show. So I'll say
Jason,
well, and interestingly enough, this would technically be the only releases under this artist's name, so we won't be getting to them. If we get to Sepultura, you'll hear a much poorer quality version of these songs, recorded by a couple of the same people, but we'll get there.
Jason conveniently told me that we didn't have to listen to all the songs on that list after I listened to these.
Oh. Well, you didn't get the memo?
Yeah, no,
see,
afterwards.
you gotta get back on Facebook. That's where all the action is. All right, my number 4 is Blink-182. When I heard Blink was back and a new album was coming, I thought, well, there's my number 1 for 2023. Just shows how good this year is. But every time I listen to it, it drops a little lower on my list. It's still a fantastic record and better than the past 3 Blink albums, but it's a little too safe. And there are some cringy lyrics on a few of the tracks. I generally skip Fell in Love and Bad News. But saying that, the highs on this record are some top-tier Blink. Anthem Part 3 still gives me chills when it starts. Dance With Me is a top song. Love Turn This Off, Turpentine, Fuckface. Childhood is an amazing closer. It's a great Blink-182 record. But there are 3 other albums better this year. It's my fucking turn again, isn't it? Because Tim did his little twofer there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Like Morbid Visions. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one.
Now, how could you ever mistake those 2 covers for the other one?
I could get into that. They're obviously recreations of the original, done in a really cool way. The vinyls on these look awesome. This one's red with black and white splatter, and this one's an orange swirl.
Oh man,
yeah,
we got to do one more art video for. It's got to be these albums here. Some great art
because they'd win, right?
No,
we're gonna be pretty low on. Foo Fighters may not beat them. Let me just say that.
Oh, they definitely beat. We'll get into that. All right, my number 3 is Aesop Rock.
Nice. I'm happy about that.
This is where my curveball came in.
It's a really good album.
It's a fucking great record. I can't wait till we get into the full discography of him. The more I hear it, the higher it climbs on my list. The album highlights for me, besides the whole damn thing, is Mindful Solutionism, 100 Feet Tall, All City Nerve Map, On Failure, and Vit It Is. Jesus Christ. I really want that light up vinyl though. A$AP Rock's gonna be a fun discography for sure.
Might have to start flagging that one on Discogs, because everywhere I've looked for that vinyl, it's long gone already.
Oh yeah, that bitch is gone.
All right, my number 3. Your number 3 is a great pick. I wish I wish I had listened to it more, because I have a funny feeling A$AP Rock is going to climb. It's probably going to climb pretty high, but I listened to it about twice so far, and it made it to number 5 in a list I didn't think it would ever be in. So, my number 3 is Bouncing Souls, 10 Stories High.
Oh, that's up there.
For a long time, this was my number 1 album of the year, and it may be, I'll give you this, it may be a little biased because of our experience with our ranking of it. Whenever we did Bouncing Souls, we had the pictures. Shout out, thank you so much for that. That was a very memorable moment. Doing this and having somebody attached to the band, and the story behind the Bouncing Souls doing 10 stories from people and actually writing it. So a lot of meaning to me with this album. Also, it's damn good.
It is damn good.
Yeah, it's a great Bouncing Souls album, and I just think it sounds amazing to be able to listen to Bouncing Souls still and then be as good as they are.
Yeah,
because there are some albums at the end there were not good.
They're going like almost 30 years now, I think, right?
Yeah. Highlights for me would be Kinver, I really liked. Vin and Casey, Andy and Jackie, To Be Human, Higher Ground. So that's my Bouncing Souls number 3.
All right.
Oh, if you haven't watched our Bouncing Souls video, go do it. Now, you can pause this one, go do that, come back.
We'll wait for him. All right, my number 2. I forgot to show off my Blink vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
My number 2 finally came in the mail.
Nice.
It was so delayed, it missed the review of it. It missed the ranking all the albums.
Now, did you go into 2023 thinking that a Rolling Stones album would be your second favorite album of the year?
No, not at all.
I didn't go into thinking it would be
it?
like, this isn't a bad album. This is pretty good.
This album, New Rolling Stones in 2023, I was never that big of a Stones fan, but after covering them on the show, hearing all 26 albums, this one ranked really high on that list. I go back to this one a lot. So many bangers on here. Love Angry, Bite My Head Off, Live by the Sword, Driving Me Too Hard, Sweet Sounds of Heaven. The whole album is just fucking phenomenal. And I read that they already have like half of another album written, so this might not be the last one.
Awesome. Yeah, bring it on.
Like Tim said, like you get a lot of artists that just phone it in after a while. You got your Rick Springfields, your Def Leppards, they just kind of phone it in. This band's been doing it a lot longer, and they're still just banging it out. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really happy we got this release, and I'm really happy you finally got your vinyl. I can't wait to hear it on vinyl myself. It's
high quality made, too.
I bet. I can't wait.
All right, Joe, what is your number 2?
My number 2 should be my number 1. And probably any year besides this year, it would be my number 1. But my number 2 is Boy Genius, the record.
Well, how would it be in any other year if this is like
because
the first album?
My number 1 album is so damn good that it beats it. But you pass 5 years, you could have put this album out, I'd have been like, this is number 1. hands down.
Oh, for the past, I got you. Yeah, the last 5 years been pretty crappy.
So,
There's been some
and
good stuff, though.
obviously we covered Boy Genius. Shout out Joe, our other Joe, for helping us out with that one. But Boy Genius, obviously, we can go through the whole thing of me finding Julian Baker, covering Jawbreaker, which was awesome, and then kind of leading myself into this. And so they put out this record, which, once again, surprise, we get a Boy Genius, the record. And just everything about it is great. I mean, the songs are all amazing. I love going through this. I've listened to this yesterday. I listened to it today. Just being like, oh, I should probably listen to some of these other on my top 10 to be able to freshly talk about them. And I was like, I just want to listen to Boy Genius. Good stuff. Love the opening. It's a cappella. $20 bill was great, or $20 was great. Emily, I'm sorry. Just every track on here is really good.
Satanist.
Satanist is
Not
amazing.
strong enough.
Anti-Curse, Letter to an Old Poet. Just one of my, this is going to be one of my probably all-time favorite albums.
Emily, that's where, well, I'll talk about top songs later, but Emily, I'm Sorry is really damn good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good record.
Now, I had some lyrics in there. It was like, when I pointed out the North Star, she called me a ducking liar. Thank you, Autocorrect. Autocorrect did put,
I think we lost Joe.
did we?
Uh-oh.
Oh, are you back?
Yeah, did we hear my ducking liar thing?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all it said. That was it.
All right, Tim, what's your number 2?
Okay, so my number 2 came as a surprise to me. It's by a band called Sincere Engineer, and it's an album called Cheap Grills.
Really?
Holy crap!
What a twist!
Dude, I really like this album. It is really good. It's probably my favorite pop album of the year, and it's probably my favorite punk album of the year.
Shout out, it's her birthday today, the day we're recording this.
Oh,
There you go.
happy birthday.
Yeah, no, this thing just oozes with melody and attitude, and I'm a fan. I really like this a lot, and it's tough to even pick highlights. I think Code Orange is great. I think A Touch of Hell is great. Library of Broken Bindings is great. California King is great. Anemia is great. The whole album is just really good, and yeah, I need to. It's on my list for obtaining a physical copy, but I have not completed my tasks yet.
You should definitely check out their first album too. It's
on the list to listen to, but the to-do list just gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, we'll save
I'm
them for
really
like
excited
one
about this
easy
release.
week.
Yeah.
3 albums.
Okay. Yeah, really excited about this release. It's really good.
That's what a twist.
That was a twist. I did not expect that.
All right, Joe, you got the dot.
All right, so I'm just going to follow right behind you. Sincere Engineer is my number 1 album of the year.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna fill mine in too, so I can switch over to.
Really? Wow.
Sheet.
Okay.
that's why it blew my mind, because I was like, I can't believe we're going to talk about Sincere Engineer as much as we are. So I'm going to give you a little history. We're going to go on a journey together.
Ooh.
That's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
So Sincere Engineer, I found through the Lawrence Homes. We talked about this before. Their first album, amazing. It was great. Second album, not as good. Not a bad album. Just it wasn't like, oh my god, like the first one. So this album, when it came out, I was like, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do here. I don't know what we're going to be. We're going to be a second album, Sincere Engineer. We're going to be the first album, Sincere Engineer. We were more like the first album. And it just starts out amazing. All the singles I heard from this album, I was like, oh, holy shit. Anemia sounds great. What was the other single?
Landline was a single.
Was it Inside My Head? Was that a single?
I don't know about that one.
I don't know if it was either. Anyway, the singles I heard, I was like, ooh, I'm super excited. This came out and just hasn't left. has not left my playlist. Anemia just starts out great, followed right behind California King. Really like Old Coat Pocket, Landline, Fireplace, I mean, so on and so forth. My biggest critique of this album is I don't really care for some of the stuff on Fireplace. Some of the lines are like, the Murderer's Buffet line. I don't really care for it. But man, that How's Your Skin Smell? I'll See You in Hell. Great. That is amazing. Like, everything about that song is great except for the weird filet buffet line thing. It reminds me of Stephen King. So I don't know. It wasn't really my thing.
Stay tuned for our top songs.
There you go. But then we get down to, A Touch of Hell and Scratched and Blind Robin. I love Blind Robin for a closer. I think that's just good stuff. So this album is, once again, Boy Genius should have been number one, except Sincere Engineer Cheap Grills came out.
Yeah, this album fucking blew me away. This is one I've gone back to more than any other record this year. Each time I do, it gets better and better. I think this is the best album they've done yet. If you haven't heard it, go check it out. The whole thing is great. Anemia, California King, Landline, Fireplace, Inside My Head. I just listened to the whole dance.
Yeah.
I did not expect
Great
this
album.
to be my album number one for 2023, but here we are. Especially in a year we got a fucking reunited Blink-182 record.
Mm-hmm.
This one blew it away. And that
So
leads-
Tim,
And
you
that's going to
can't.
leave
Yeah.
me talking about the new Queens of the Stone Age album, In Times New Roman. I've been going back to this one a lot, and the more I listen to it, the more I like it. Negative Space is great. Paper Machete is great. Time and Place is awesome. Made to Parade is awesome. Straight Jacket Fitting is awesome. I was lucky enough to see the tour this year, and they did do Straight Jacket Fitting, and Hami went out into the crowd for like 20 minutes and just like preached about how everybody should live their life for the moment and for good. And Carnivore is great. Like every song on here, What the People Say, Sicily. I just named the whole album, and it's I don't think it's the best Queens of the Stone Age album, but it's in that great second tier of about 3 or 4 of their albums that it's like, well, this could be their best, but it's not. But it could be.
I left this one off my list because I need a lot more time with it.
Okay.
I only listened to it for our review and never went back to it. So
It's definitely a
bad
grower.
record, though. It was not a bad record. I remember liking it. I remember Paper Machete being great.
I really like Paper Machete.
And Straight Jacket. Like, I remember it, so it was a good record.
The one that really blew me away live was Time and Place. That song is so syncopated and rhythmically very jagged, but it works. It makes a lot of sense, and once you kind of get into the groove of it, it's really cool.
I was just reading my notes. Straight Jacket Fitting. My first note was the speaker feedback scared the shit out of me. I was listening on a plane and it just scared the fuck out of me. And Technologia Jesus was a good word. I don't know how he got that one. I don't know how you sing that with a straight face, but
Tommy's always been good with the wordplay.
Yeah, I'm not a Queens of the Stone Age person, but like I said, Paper Machete was good. This wasn't a bad album. I do like how some of the guitar sounds, and I like how his voice goes a lot of times. Like it's kind of I wrote down old timey, but that's not exactly what it is. But the way he sings matches things. Like if he didn't sing in the style he does, all this is ruined. It never goes together.
Well, being a Queens of the Stone Age person, I think it's a strong album, and for me personally, in a year that sees a new Queens of the Stone Age album and a new Metallica album, it's gonna be a good year for me.
It was damn good. Probably the best year in the last 5, I would say.
I feel like 2019 was a really good year, but I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah,
But
I'd
there
have to
was a
go
lot,
back and
and
look.
then 21, like right when the pandemic really kind of let up, I feel like a lot of good stuff came out then too. A lot of bad stuff came out too, but
By the time we get to the 2020s decades, we'll probably be at the end of it.
We'll throw a ball in the meat grinder, see what comes out. See what
I can't
turns
wait for
out.
that meat grinder to get a grinding. It's going to be
It's-
so much fun.
It's coming. That's going to be some fun episodes.
Uh-huh.
So, it looks like Sincere Engineer kind of ranked the highest percentage-wise.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's going to be our official album of the year as a show.
Yeah, and then Aesop Rock would be, I think, number 2.
Yeah. Hackney Diamonds got 2 mentions.
Yep, Hackney got 2. Blink got 2.
The Foo got 2.
Foo got 2. Boy
Well,
Genius
Boy
got 2.
Genius.
Rancid got 2, Boy Genius 2,
Yeah.
Souls.
Yeah, it's been a fucking great year. So
Rancid. Yeah. Yeah. It has been a really good year.
2024 is kicking off, at least for us pop punk fans. We got some Green Day. We got some Alkaline Trio in January.
There's going to be new Slater Kinney in January. Anthrax. Yeah. New Slater Kinney in January.
January. Is the new
Anthrax
October.
are in the studio right now, so us old school thrash fans can be really excited for new Anthrax. They've been on fire for the last few albums, so I can't wait to. Plus, you get Charlie's been playing with Pantera, and Scott's been playing with Mr. Bungle. So to see what they're both, and they're recording at 606. So,
Alkaline Trio is too.
possible. Yeah. It's gonna be a good year.
Yep. All right, so give us a like, thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know what album we left off here. Or if you agree with our list. If you don't, let us know. Tell Colquitt to get better. We miss him. And with that, we'll see you in the new year. Be safe. Make good decisions.
Until next year.
And make bad ones.